Hey guys, good morning. As promised, I would come back and do a little review for all of you, okay? So, the review that I am doing this morning is for this deck right here. This is the Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell and Katie-Louise, okay? So, this deck retails for about $25 in the US, $34 possibly in Canada. But this is one of the Hay House decks, and I believe this is the second deck in these two collaboration. They've already come out with the Rose Oracle. For those who don't know, they've come out with the Rose Oracle, this deck, the Ancient Stones Oracle, and I believe they're coming out with a fourth Oracle collaboration. I believe it is called the Inner Temple Oracle. I don't know. I'll have to do research again and just determine if that's true or not. But I know for certain that they are coming out with a fourth deck. Okay? So I ended up getting this deck like a long time ago. I think back when there was still some craze around it. So I figured I'd give it a shot. I mean, what drew me into this deck is Katie-Louise's artwork. I will put her Instagram profile name in the description below. But the profile name is She is Luminous. I do like her artwork. So because of this, I figured I'd try it. And plus, my ascendant and my sun sign are water signs. Okay. So I'm very big on water elements, which is primarily the two reasons why I even got this deck. So here's the deck itself. This is the card backs. This is the actual front of the cards here, if you can see. Oh, and by the way, before I even get into the cards, um, this this is the little booklet that comes with it, the little guidebook. I'll get to that in a minute. And this little pouch right here, this doesn't actually come with it. This is a pouch that I purchased from a metaphysical store over here in near Orange Park, Florida. But I just figured that this was a really, really good pouch in order to store my cards in. So there's that. So I've been using this deck for quite some time now. And honestly, I like it. I really like it. I can see myself using this deck for a very, very, very long time. And it's probably the first deck, I believe, by Rebecca Campbell in general that caught my attention. I think it was the first one because, well, I'll say this. It was the first deck that not only caught my attention, but it held on to it for quite some time. Okay? Like when it first came out, I knew for certain that this was going to be one of my decks here. So I like it. The biggest thing about this deck is it shows the water element in a very magical and mystical kind of way. Not so much as in a refreshing, taking a swim in some clear, cool waters on a hot day. It doesn't really have that effect on me. It's more of a mystical kind of deck here. Like it shows the mystical and spiritual and magical properties of the water element. At least that's how I see this deck. So, honestly, I like it. I've been working with it for some time. And honestly, if you're very intuitive like me, the guidebook is fine, but as you work with this deck over time, you won't really need to use this guidebook. I mean, the guidebook is okay, but honestly, when you keep using this deck, and again, you're intuitive like me to where you can pick up messages very, very, very clearly, as soon as the card flips out, you won't really need the guidebook. But the guidebook is just nice to have in case you just want anything additional on top of the messages that you get with this deck. Um, the messages, speaking of messages, to be honest with you, the messages here are very, very calming. They're not like straight up smacking your face as much. These are very calming and comforting, to put it simply. So don't expect any hard hitting, in your face, as real as it gets kind of messages with this deck. It's very soothing, it's very comforting, almost like a warm hug, things like that. Okay? If you want something hard hitting, I strongly suggest tarot. Maybe there is an Oracle deck out there that's pretty hard hitting. I have yet to find it. I will eventually. But this is the energy that I mostly get from this deck. It's very calming, it's very soothing, it's comforting, and it's like a warm hug. Just when you're kind of feeling down, it's like a warm hug. And plus, the artwork is just, it's what I've come to expect from Katie-Louise, since again, I do like her artwork, and honestly, it's just, I love it. I love it. There's not much I can say about it, honestly. So, preferably, I like to use this deck by itself. Sometimes I like to use the deck by itself, mainly for a weekly pull, but I do like to use it with other decks that I have. So, think maybe a tarot deck, maybe like two other oracle decks. That's when I would use this deck just as a weekly pull. Daily pull, I guess you could use it as a daily pull, but for me personally, it's unnecessary. I don't really need to pull cards every single day. Maybe for the week, it's fine, and this deck is good for like a weekly pull. As a daily pull, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this one is really good. You can either use it by itself or you can use it with like maybe a tarot deck or maybe another oracle deck because it pairs very well. It works pretty well with other card decks. So, I have no complaints there. Okay? Um if you're familiar with Hay House, you're familiar with the card stock quality. There's nothing special to it. I mean, cardstock wise, it's not too stiff, but it's not too thin either. It just works. It's fine with me. Doesn't hurt my hands in the slightest bit. I have no problem shuffling. I mean, yeah, there's just not much to say about it. If you have Hay House decks, then you will probably be familiar with this deck. So, all in all, I like it. I have no complaints. This is definitely a deck I will be using for a very long time. Probably the only deck by Rebecca Campbell that I will be using for a very, very long time because it just resonates with me. It really does. Not just because again, my ascendant and my sun sign are water signs. It's not just that. It hits. It has a very comforting, warm energy to it, and again, I just love the artwork and the messages come through very, very easily for me. Like, again, I don't even need the guidebook to be honest. I mean, as soon as a card flips out, for example, this card flips out, I already know what the message is, and I don't even have to read the bottom, even though it's nice to read the bottom, but I can already figure out what the message is for me. Maybe with some additional messages, but more than likely, it's great. So this is a great deck for beginners. This is a great deck for intermediate. I would say this is a good deck for like whatever level of card reading that you're at. This is great. Okay. Now, personally, what I like to do with these types of decks here, well, with any decks, is I like to pick out my favorite cards from the deck because of their design. Um, and just the overall messages and if cards in this deck really resonate with me the most. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so let me go ahead and move this out of the way. Just move this out of the way for you so y'all can see a lot better. And here we go. These are the cards that I have decided to select here. These are the cards that resonate with me the most. All right, these are the 5 cards out of this deck that I absolutely love and they resonate with me the most. All right? Especially this one, honestly. Let It Rain. I don't know what it is about this card. I like it. It's almost it's almost like laying down in the middle of a gentle rain shower and just letting yourself get soaked by the rain. Honestly, I'm pretty crazy enough, so I would do this. But that's just me talking. But these cards, out of the entire deck, these ones stand out to me the most. I I wish I could explain it better to all of you that are watching, but these just hit. They just work. I don't know why. They just work for me. So, yeah. I mean, out of the entire deck, these are the 5 cards that just hit for me the most. They're beautiful, artistic wise, and the messages that I get with these cards are just, they just hit. I mean, I don't have to look up anything. I just know what the message is. And I've been doing my own readings for quite some time now, so that's probably why. But these 5 cards are my favorite out of the entire deck. So, I'm just curious, guys. If you have this deck, tell me how it worked for you in the comments below, okay? I don't really have much more to say about this deck. It gets a 5 out of 5 for me. Again, I will use this until the deck literally crumbles in my hands. Because I can definitely see myself using this deck for a very, very, very long time. That's how good it is to me. So 5 out of 5. I love it. It's great. I have no complaints about it. And out of all the Rebecca Campbell decks, this one would have to be my favorite. So that's pretty much all I got to say about this card deck in review. Again, if you have this deck in particular, if you have this, let me know how it worked for you in the comments below. If you like my review, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And again, I will do my best to post another review as much as I can. I just have to find the time to do it because unfortunately I still live at my parents' house, so I have to wait until everybody is gone so I don't get disturbed. But yeah, this is it. Healing Waters Oracle. I love it. No complaints. I will see you guys in the next video, and I love you guys, alright? So just stay safe out there, be careful, and just take care of yourselves, alright? Peace out.